A photograph autographed by every single member of the greatest team in baseball history. Here's the story. Hey, it's Mike. Thanks for tuning back in. So, Attic Find Friday, back again with another recent story. There were a lot of stories this year, and I think if we consider why this is, which some people have asked me, why do you suppose there have been so many new ones this year? I don't know for a fact that there have been a lot. It does feel like there have been more, uh, and they're not. Of course, they're not all attic finds, but a lot of big, new to the hobby finds this year. And I suspect it's because, kind of like in 2020, 2021, there's so much money in the hobby space, in the collectible space, and people are looking and saying, hey, this might be worth something. Let's contact somebody and find out. Just my guess. This is from 1927, the 1927 New York Yankees, Murderers Row, widely considered the greatest baseball team of all time. They went wire to wire, won the pennant, swept the Pirates in the World Series. Sorry to my Pirate fan friends. Uh, they had Babe Ruth in his absolute prime. He hit 60 home runs that year. He and Lou Gehrig. Gehrig also had 47. Both of them finished with an OPS of over 1.25, which is crazy. They also had two future Hall of Fame pitchers in Waite Hoyt and Herb Pennock. And then they had another pitcher who had a very good season named Urban Shocker, which is a great, great name. Something you'd see this in a headline about something happening in a city somewhere. I can just imagine it. Photograph was taken in St. Petersburg, Florida, at Crescent Lake Field, where the Yankees did their spring training games back then. It was taken on March 24th, and then in the bottom right, somebody had written Princess Martha. And Princess Martha was a hotel opened in 1924. It's where the Yankees stayed for the spring training games back then. The Princess Martha, beautiful building, closed as a hotel in 1989. What's that, 62 years later? And then it reopened after $4 million in renovations. And in 1995, it reopened it reopened as a independent senior living facility that still is open today. In 1995, the building was named a historic landmark, historic building. So cool history just in the building that these autographs were obtained in. Who obtained these autographs? It is actually the girlfriend of one of the pitchers. Hank Johnson was the pitcher's name. He actually didn't make the team that year. He had played for the Yankees in 26, then he played in the minor leagues, winning 18 games in 1927, then pitched for the Yankees like 5 or 6 seasons after 1927 in a row. In fact, he appeared on the 1933 Gowdy set in the Red Sox for the Red Sox because he was playing for them then. The girlfriend of Hank Johnson was apparently named Helen. Her name was written somewhere. Couldn't read her last name. By the way, these details come as often they do from Sports Collectors Daily. Great outlet. So this apparently hit the hobby 20 years ago, or was first known to the hobby 20 years ago, presumably from the girlfriend of Hank Johnson. If I were to find this item, I would bring it to Jeremy Donson and Chris Sewell at Collector Investor Auctions. They sponsor Attic Find Friday. They are, in my opinion, the best. I actually have 9 items with them right now in their November auction. 9 cards, some of them autographed, some of them are 1964 Topps Giants. You should go check them out at collectorinvestorauctions.com. Fantastic, fantastic place. And no, I will not be shill bidding, and neither will any of my friends. I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of this episode. But this item, autographed by, actually, there are 45 autographs on it. One of them was deemed a clubhouse signature. That was the manager, Miller Huggins. PSA said it was clubhouse. It was not a true signature, which happens sometimes when somebody has somebody from the clubhouse sign things for them. But then you had a lot of guys who just didn't make the team yet. Because remember, this was taken on March 24th. It was probably developed very quickly. They got the autographs very quickly. Developed, by the way, by photographer Ray Williams. On the back it says stamped. It was stamped in red ink. Photo by Ray Williams. In fact, I found a similar image from Ray Williams' collection. Another 1927 team signed photograph of the 1927 Yankees that sold in 2014 for $264,000. Another similar one from the estate of batting practice pitcher Don Miller. Another 1927 team signed photo sold for $444,000 in 2021. So this one was estimated to sell for $200,000. It actually sold for $122,000, which I'm imagining was a bummer, but still $122,000 for, I don't know who bought this. I couldn't find any history of this one selling in the past. In the photo, Babe Ruth has his arms around Dutch Ruther and Joe Dugan, I think it's pronounced. The owner was Jacob Ruppert. And the GM was Ed Barrow. Both signed along the top. And then the rest of the guys signed in lines above where they were on the photograph. Very, very cool piece of history here. Sold for $122,000, which I guess I would have thought it would have sold for $200,000 or more as well, since this happened in August of this year. It sold in August. But I don't know. We've seen a few items sell for less than expected, a few big items recently. What do you think? Is there a trend, or are we still seeing cards skyrocketing in value? Tough to say. All right, let me know what you think about this one. Last night, well, if you've been paying any attention to the hobby drama this week, you know that Dr. Beckett released a podcast on Monday and a follow-up on Wednesday. I guess not a follow-up, but a second piece of the podcast, where he interviewed Patrick Ryan, where Patrick Ryan admitted to shill bidding. And Dr. Beckett also said some things that were not very comforting in the hobby. And so last night I talked to John Keating about this. John Keating is awesome. I'm a huge John Keating fan. I dusted him off a little bit because he has not been appearing on anything in a while, I don't think. And I spin the Keating top and then let him go, and he was awesome. This is live on wherever you get your podcasts. Just go to Sports Card Clubhouse, and it is the latest Surface Issues episode. Greg couldn't make it this week, so Keating took his place, did a great job. Very interesting stuff, and these guys talk about how the intent matters with shill bidding. I disagree, and I think that Dan of Dan's Vintage Baseball PC did a great job on Because I'm Carlos channel a couple days ago, yesterday morning, I guess. Basically just tearing them apart for almost everything they said. And John Keating comes in also with some very strong opinions. It'll be interesting to hear Dr. Beckett speak. I did invite Dr. Beckett on my podcast on Wednesday or Tuesday night, maybe it was, and he declined. So I'll be curious to hear where he lands in terms of maybe he'll just release another podcast where he talks about it. I'm not sure. Somebody needs to ask him some difficult questions. I hope they do. My goal is to get in front of him and just read him some of his quotes and say, help me understand what this means. Are you okay with shill bidding? All right, guys. Hope you have a great weekend. I should be back tomorrow with a mail day. And then obviously Sunday, Clearing the Bases episode. See you all soon.